What is going on, Facebook? What's going on, Clubhouse? This is the Genesis Block this Monday at 11 a.m. here on Clubhouse and on Facebook. We are streaming live. Anybody that comes on stage today, realize that we are streaming to 3 different platforms. And because of that, if you come on stage, you will be streamed as well. Just want to give you that warning if you come on stage today. We have a stage full of our wonderful experts. And we got my man Bitcoin Zay. He came over live from the Genesis block. From the Gentleman of Crypto this morning with some amazing news. So I just wanted to get that thing started. So, Zay, what's going on, man? Tell us about what happened today and refresh some of the news from the week, man.
And then our last story we talked about was the musician Blau. You can find him on Twitter, 3LAU, pronounced Blau. He actually sold his NFT for his album. He sold 33 separate NFTs for $11 million in 3 days. So an NFT market is definitely heating up, and I think musicians have found a way to retain their value, and music executives are shaking in their boots right now because they're going to have to find a new model to make money off musicians. So shout out to Blau. Shout out to Google for adding crypto, Rakuten, and then, of course, Citi for the report on Bitcoin. Make sure you watch the Gentleman of Crypto live Monday through Friday at 10-ish. And also Sundays, we have our weekly roundup show with data analysis, interviews, and more. That's Sundays at 6 p.m.
Thank you so much, Zay, man. Yeah, this has been an amazing day. Like, real talk. One of the things that I've seen over the past couple days is the price. So this is what I'm gonna get our experts to talk about. So number one, let's talk about the price, because everybody was talking about, oh my God, the Bitcoin price has dropped from heaven and it's about to go straight to hell, right? But we noticed there was a rebound and a quicker rebound than we've normally seen in the past. Also, let's talk about Citibank today and what Citibank's saying that this is the tipping point for a large bank like that, a large global bank like Citibank, to start saying that Bitcoin is the North Star is crazy, because we understand what North Star is. And, for me, Bitcoin always been a North Star because it represented freedom. And then in the last step of this, let's talk about those NFTs and what they can provide to these artists and how it's freeing up the game, allowing these artists to skip the middleman. So first off, let's talk about the price, man. Let's get right into it. Anybody want to talk about the price and how it dropped and how things are a little bit different now?
Good morning, guys. I'd like to say something about the price. I definitely found me an entry point and accumulated me some more Satoshis. While it was in that dip, I think it went down to about 46,000. And also that Citibank statement that they made this morning is kind of,
I don't know what's going on. Sound
big too, because they're basically saying that Bitcoin is at a tipping point to become the global trade currency. So that means there's some people in some high
Check.
places making some decisions about, this becoming the future currency. And I think that's good that we got these huge American banks even making press releases like this. So the price is fairly high for people that's been in the space, but I think it's great that these institutions are exercising that they are willing to buy Bitcoin at the price it is right now. So I think it's very important that we need to be accumulating Satoshis as well.
Yeah, looking at the price too, one thing we want to keep reminding people is that the percentage swings haven't changed through all these years. Like, we know cryptocurrency is quote unquote volatile or whatever as it's going through its price discovery, but it's still the same percentage drop. So we told a lot of people, like, as it crosses that $100,000 mark, whenever it does, it's going to still be a 20% drop when it happens. So that's going to look like, $103,000 going down to $82,000, $84,000, $78,000 when that time happens. So that's really going to scare some people too. But it's still going to be a 20% drop, something we've seen in this space like literally every week. So that's what I just kind of thought about pricing in general.
Yeah, and Bitcoin will be dead too when it happens every time.
Exactly. The percentage swing isn't changing. It's just the dollar amount that's changing because it's becoming more expensive via fiat.
I think also. Oh, go ahead, Jay Hill.
No worries, man. Good morning, everyone. I completely agree with everything King just mentioned. The fact that this dip, one of my alerts actually confirmed that this was similar to a bottom as far as this recent downward move. And like Q mentioned, we hit between like 45, 43,000 as a bottom. And if you look at my photo, if you PTR, Plan B's stock to flow ratio shows that we printed a orange dot, which is like one of the second solid dots. And if you look at the previous cycle, we made a huge run up after we had that confirmed. So between my indicator and Plan B's alignment, along with Michael Saylor's another purchase at that key range, I think we could easily see another big leg up from this point. And of course, with Citibank's bullish news, I just see a lot more upside in the very near future.
Hey, I was just gonna add that I think this dip that we saw, had a lot to do with the tether ruling. So they had a ruling on them in New York. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but you can go look that up. So it had some to do with that. Also, if you're following most of these markets, the bond market had a recent sell as well. So that recent sell probably had people looking to allocate, and take monies from one area and place it into the bond market because the bonds were on sale, yielding like I would say, what, about 40% more, a 40% yield on the bonds, and they were on sale. So like, for example, let's say that the bonds were on sale for normally $1,000 a bond, right? And they were giving you a 20% yield on it. And then they took the price down to 500 and would give you another 20%. So you would really be making 40% on it, all right? Because they would give you the same amount. So you'd be paying $500 for a $1,000 bond and basically getting a 40% yield on it. So people were moving things around, so that they can get in other assets. So I think that had a lot to do with it as well.
So what do you guys
think? Now we're back.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that bounce though? Like at bounce was at bounce. You feel what I'm saying? It was like more bounce to the ounce. What y'all think about that, man?
I mean, I feel like how King had said earlier, we haven't, the longer you hear, the more you look at like percentages, and we haven't had a percentage that wasn't too alarming, but when you do 20,000 or 20%, you move a few $1,000s. I mean, but I think also what Lamar's talking about, like the quickness of the rebound. So you start to see people, like, here's the thing. I was in this other group, and someone said, they asked me, because I was the only Bitcoin guy in there, they said, So how you feel about Michael Saylor? I'm like, he's just doing what all newbies do. Once you start seeing the money rise, and once you start seeing the price go up and your money go up, you just buy. You start getting happy. And they're like, well, he's had $1 billion before. I'm like, yeah, but he hasn't had it in Bitcoin before. So you're gonna really see, people like him and other people. But to be honest, it ain't been too much. But like Lamar said, the quickness of the dip though is what is exciting.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, with Saylor too, like we always say, he got bit by the Bitcoin bug, so of course he can't stop talking about it right now. He's new to it, so I'm glad you pointed it out, Justin. And yeah, the rebound was quick as well, but we also pointed out today, Doge came out, the developers came back and they did an upgrade or whatever to the network to make it faster, whatever. They've been more scalable, basically. And I said it was funny today that you're not hearing no Doge news, and they've actually done something to the network. And that's kind of how I felt about Bitcoin. All 2018, 2019, Bitcoin kept making so many cool improvements. And I mean, you never heard anything or saw it reflected on the price. So this is clearly like the community of coins and tokens and projects and the community's excitement in it. And I bring that up because could people like Michael Saylor, even everybody else in the space right now, how would people feel if Bitcoin's set at 45,000 for the next 2 years? That would still be a higher number than when we set at the previous 2 years. But you get what I'm saying? It still wouldn't be enough for some people. So again, this is just the psychological trading cycle, which we kind of talked about earlier. But when I'm looking at the percentage swings, whether it's dipping or coming back up, we're still saying staying in that same type of ranges. Again, the 10 to 15, 20% dips and or bounces at the same time. So it doesn't scare me. What does scare me is that people aren't talking about the tech; they're just talking price.
Yeah, hey, yo, and if it stayed at 45K for 3 years, it'd still be a better money than USD.
Exactly.
Facts.
It's so funny. Like, the one thing I recognize is it keeps crashing up. Like, every time they like, oh, it's another crash, but you look at where it crashed down to, and it's higher than anything that we saw before. Like, if you just flip the chart upside down, you will see that those crashes are going up as well. So it's like it just keeps crashing up, and everything keeps going up. And I think that's for the foreseeable future, right? Because, like, even as we're speaking right now, we have a lot of people listening to us on Facebook. Shout out to Facebook. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. We got the new YouTube streaming going. Those people are going to be interested in Bitcoin, and when they get bit and understand Bitcoin, that's going to add more demand, right? So, and the supply ain't going nowhere. So I think that crash up will continuously keep happening, and I think we just in a good place, man. So even seeing that it crashed up to 44,000, right? Now we almost back at 48 already, right? I think that's a really cool thing.
We are at 48. We are at 48 right now.
49 actually.
No, it's 49.
We over 49
right now.
The other thing we have to remember, what happened last week, there was a lot of commentary in the news last week regarding Bitcoin. So you had Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. She made that very public statement that Bitcoin was extremely inefficient as a digital currency. She also shared that it was used in often cases for illicit purposes. And then you had Bill Gates that also made a statement saying that, Bitcoin was not for him. And if you didn't have money like Elon Musk, then you shouldn't move toward Bitcoin. And so I think that those statements, of course, contributed to investor concern and fear. And that absolutely caused some people to get a little bit skittish and to kind of sell.
And like Isaiah mentioned, this topic around NFTs being more, adopted. And, I was watching ESPN and they're talking about blockchain technology and the NFT space, surrounding the NBA Top Shot. So, it's happening. It's definitely happening real time. And it's kind of crazy to see, over the years of just watching and it, transform into now more positive news being discussed. It's really amazing. But also the stimulus, the package being pushed forward, news surrounding that, I think that's also going to be positive impact towards Bitcoin. People are going to look at, where can I place, this money or, this extra, check and see if they can, make some gains or, potentially just buy and hold at this point. So it should be really interesting to see how things play out in the next week or so.
Well, what was pretty also interesting to see was, I think what makes this dip different. I would say this may be the first time we've had a dip like this where we have the mainstream actually come back out in favor of Bitcoin. I'm glad Charlene pointed out with Yellen and all them. I agree with her. I think that was the cause for some of the dip. Everybody's listening to Bill Gates, Charlie Munger, and Yellen all at the same time within 72 hours saying Bitcoin's a bad buy. But this is also the first time you saw JP Morgan come out and say, hey, put 1% of your money toward Bitcoin and crypto.
That's right.
We saw Citibank just come out. You got Michael Saylor coming out. Like, this is the first time we've had mainstream people come out and be like, oh, hold on, I don't know what they saying over there, but this is what we're looking at. So I thought that.
Yeah, what that means to me is that they're buying right now. If they're putting all that fear out there, that's one of the ways that they try to drive the price down. They can get their own Bitcoin at discount, and the people who have already been buying it, they're going to promote it because then that helps their business. So it's all just, business propaganda that's getting put out there. So know your asset and, you'd be good.
And if they were already saying that, hey, put 1% in, that's because they're already buying it before they even mentioned it. They've been buying it.
You know it.
Yeah, here's the thing. So let's talk about that, right? So you guys were talking about, Citibank and JP Morgan Chase. Citibank came out and said that Bitcoin is the North Star and that all of these CBDCs are going to have to figure it out, right? So what do you guys think about Citibank coming out and taking such a heavy stance and sounding like they were pro-Bitcoin a little bit?
Well, it caught me off guard. I mean, I'm glad to see the establishment finally standing up, but that also goes to show just how much crypto all these places have, even though they haven't been publicizing it, like someone just mentioned. We saw this interview that came out December 2020 of this hacker Gummo, who unintentionally slipped out that he had been mining Bitcoin for CME for years already, and they had like at least 80,000 Bitcoin. And I'm like, oh, well, hell, if I would have known that when they did their futures, then I would have believed them when they said they're going to tame the market, because I didn't know they were coming into the market with 80,000 Bitcoin. So same thing with JP Morgan with the 1%. Yeah, you can buy 1% at 50,000, but at $5,000, this is a fraud and it's a bad buy. So same thing with Citibank. It's just it's cool to see it. It's just crazy to see it. But
I think
they're already buying it. They're pumping their bags.
Yeah, so you know what? I think it's a more of a you can't beat them, join them type of thing. And I think Citi's trying to do a thing where they're trying to get out ahead of the pack, so they can be one of the bigger custodians first, right? So if you think about it, you say, all right, look, I want y'all to get into Bitcoin, but at the same time, there's going to be some subliminals there to say, hey, look, but let us hold it for you. So I think that might just with them promoting Bitcoin like this.
Yeah, that's
hey, I'm gonna say this. My bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
You got.
Now I was gonna say that funny thing with Citibank is they had an analyst come out in November already predict that the price of Bitcoin could go to 300K, and now you're noticing them coming out saying this. And I think I commented on Bitcoin Chris's IG, like they are either like like everyone's saying they've been buying, and at the same time they are noticing that the writing is on the wall, that they just can't continuously act like it's not a real thing. So Citibank, I mean, because I did a video on them just saying like an analyst said can go to 300K in November, but he was talking about at the end of this year in December that Bitcoin could be $300,000. So it's going to be an interesting thing to watch with Citibank and exactly like JP Morgan and those folks over there.
I would say too that some people don't realize, institutional people are buying a lot of the supply, but they're also not going to let the price dip very low. That's why I think we have these rocket ships back up whenever we had a dip the last two times, because they're buying everything at that price and they won't let it dip too far. They're not going to watch their funds go down 80%. So I think that's encouraging from institutions. But again, it is still weird to hear it and see the flip from 2017 to now.
Yeah, the flip is tripping me out. The flip by far is tripping me out. But I think what Fred just said makes a whole lot of sense. Because you can't sit here and say you want to be the custodian if you're telling everybody it's rat poison. Right?
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
right.
And I said,
That's
I see
I was
that
gonna,
I see that here's the thing. They're watching PayPal. They're watching Square. These are public companies that are showing you all the fees that they're making. Matter of fact, not even that. Think about Coinbase. Like Coinbase just came out and they're about to go public. So a lot of their information is public now, right? And so all of these banks are sitting around like, oh my gosh, this little company is able to make this and we have all their users. Like we might as well hop on this bandwagon and say, listen, yeah, Bitcoin's perfect. Come trade with us. Because now all of a sudden, all of that income, all of that stuff that was going to the Coinbases and the PayPals and the Square can now turn around and go right back to the banks. And I think Fred made a very poignant point pointing that out. Because it does seem weird to us that have been in the game for a while. But when you think about profit, it don't seem weird at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. Same as what Fred was saying. I think they're trying to establish themselves in the space with like the different announcements and different things throughout the course of this bull market. That they're pro Bitcoin and things like that, just to kind of ease them. Like he said, ease their way into being an authority in the custody space. I think that's the play as well. Totally agree.
I just wanted to add, as far as this bullish news, I know there are going to be a lot of people that are going to get really excited. But just to speak on like risk management, if you are, looking to invest, I still encourage it, you to dollar cost average in. And yes, it's very bullish news, but you still want to make sure that you are using proper risk management when you're making any investments.
So what you're saying, Jay, is I shouldn't buy a whole Bitcoin right now?
Not at all. Not saying that at all. Just saying, it's still, interesting to see how, they've been talking bad about it or negatively for years, and now that we're at these highs and levels, and they're the narrative has just changed, and I'm still skeptical because I would use the CNBC news as a top indicator for them to pretty much, sell the market. So I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. Of course, the narrative has changed, but just for the new listeners and people that are hearing the news, they may just, some people may actually take this opportunity to just take a lot of money and just dump it into the market without actually understanding, the technology and these things. So just for the new listeners, definitely if you are looking to invest or haven't made any purchases of purchasing Bitcoin, you want to scale in, take a percentage in dollar cost average.
I agree, Jay. But what I would also caution them is to buy when the price is down. Don't get so excited because you see the price rising that you jump in. So be cautious of that. Try to always buy when the price is down. You heard some moderators mention earlier, I hope you bought the dip. The dip refers to when the price is low. So we buy when it's low, and if you're going to sell, you sell when it's high. Of course, here in the Black Bitcoin Billionaires, we do not advocate that you sell. You're holding this for a long-term gain so that you can pass wealth on to your heirs.
Indeed.
One thing I want. Oh, go ahead, Lamar.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I just wanted to bring in some of the stuff that was going on Facebook. Melissa McKnight Forney said, sadly, when BTC becomes more vocally appreciated as a standard than a fad by the media, then it'll be too late for most to get in like they can today. So she's basically saying there is a sense of urgency you have to have, because the more people keep talking about it, you like, man, shut up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because people
but can we speak to that real quick?
more.
Lamar,
yeah,
can we
go
speak to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because, again, we got to remember what King said. If we look at this thing in the forms of appreciation, we don't know what Bitcoin will appreciate by, and granted, I understand what we're getting at. You feel me? Like, I understand what we're getting at. However, if people here are only good with 1 million Satoshis, which I hope they're not, but, if that's what they're continuously striving for, because like I tell people since Lamar started this, buy 1 million satoshis 100 times. But like how King said earlier, when we really pay attention to not just the price but the levels of appreciation by percentage, you can't really say it's going. I don't really like when people think it's going to be too late, because people are going to buy Bitcoin at 50,000, they're gonna buy it at 100,000, they're gonna buy it at 1 million. Like, they're gonna continuously use Bitcoin forever. So, I mean, I understand what she's saying,
Justin. I don't think
but
it's
the
what
same token.
But Justin, I don't think that's what she's saying. I think she's just saying there is a sense of urgency. Cause
it's always a sense of urgency.
So what she's saying is like, don't wait too late. You dig what I'm saying? Like, don't sit around and wait and think that this price is gonna stay that way. Cause me, you, Zay, all of us that been in for a while, we seen people keep waiting. We seen people wait at $100.
Oh yeah, no, I get you on that part. Yeah.
We saw people wait.
Procrastination be killing all these people.
Right. We saw people wait at $500. We saw people wait at $15. Then they were like, "Man, is that too high?" Then we saw them wait at $5,000. So what she's basically saying is, and now here's the thing: we saw all those people wait before all of these big companies are coming in talking about it. So you see how fast the appreciation is right now. Like, this hyperbolic move up from since December, I would say. Right, we saw it move really rapidly since December. That all pretty much, from my perspective, came from institutional investors like we've never seen before. So what happens when even more of those people get in? I think the price is gonna zoom up even more. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I always try to. Go ahead, Jakumi.
No, I was gonna say we already know, like, how people like Kathy Wood, coming out and saying like, oh, if all the S&P companies decide to put a little bit of their cash in, 1% of their cash in this Bitcoin, it's going to be, somewhere around $70,000. If they put in, 3 to 6%, each company, then Bitcoin's price is going to be, well up or around, 200K. So if you're asking me right now, it is early, right? And like this right here is just the beginning. Like, we're just at the beginning. These companies are now getting involved. You want to be getting in, as soon as you can, because the U.S. government, they're daring you right now to not do anything with your money. They're daring you. You leaving your money in the bank, they're daring you. They're saying, hey, we're going to print so much money. The money that you have in the bank is going to lose lots of value. We dare you to leave it in there. Like, the price of money is cheap right now. So if you're leaving your money in the bank, you're taking on more risk than you should be, and that's why these companies are using this as a form of just a store of value, right? So we just got to get involved, man. We got to get educated and get in the game.
Yeah, I agree, because it's like the SWOT analysis, right? Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. When you look at some of the threats, if your competition is buying Bitcoin and their balance sheet is going up, the only way for you to keep up is to really have additional sales or to, raise your price. But if you're raising your price for your goods and services, and the company that bought Bitcoin can lower their prices because they don't have to worry about, their balance sheet keeping a certain amount of cash because it keeps appreciating, man, you're talking about complete businesses failing while other ones rise up. And these packages that the government's printing out, where they're printing out the money and they're buying bonds back from these C corporations, it's almost like, it's like they're trying to keep those companies alive. But if those companies don't utilize Bitcoin or utilize this technology, you're going to see some of those stocks just completely collapse within a year or two, because they're not even their worth is not correctly reflecting their current prices in the stock market, because the government's been printing out so much money and giving it to them. So we're really going to see a huge reckoning very, very soon.
And I wanted to piggyback again on what Fred and Black Regal was saying. And I think that's really important, is that we talked about this on our show yesterday on Sunday, but the narrative is being stolen right now. The way I'm looking at it is like, this is the New York agreement from 2017 happening in front of our eyes with these corporations and institutions. And it's kind of a thing where it's like, as a community, if we're not doing groups like this and continue to speak up, I said this the other day, like JP Morgan, I can't believe I'm saying this. They could very likely steal the narrative and take over the narrative of what Bitcoin is. Like that is what they're trying to do. You're right. That's what Citigroup's trying to do. Everyone who's talking right now, they're trying to get their piece of the pie by stealing the narrative. So I think that's something we really have to watch out for, because I can guarantee another 2 or 3 years, you will see that JP Morgan commercial that's like, we've been in Bitcoin since the beginning. And like, you can be in Bitcoin with us now too. Like I'm telling you, no one's going to stop it. It's not illegal. And all it takes is marketing dollars. And if I was the head of JP Morgan, I would be pumping marketing dollars into commercials like that, because if it's your first time hearing about Bitcoin, you're not going to know if I'm telling you the truth or lying.
Right. I can see it. I can see it with you, man. Listen, we on the second half of our first hour, so we're going to try to change it up just a little bit right now. So everybody who's just now listening, this is the Genesis Block. We are a show that happens every Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern, right here on Clubhouse, on Facebook, and on all platforms that you can get it streaming right now. We're on YouTube and Facebook and Clubhouse. We just want to let y'all know that we have a great time here at the Black Bitcoin Billionaires. We just finished up our campaign for the Satoshi Millionaire Challenge, but guess what? It don't stop. We are still encouraging everyone out there to become a Satoshi Millionaire. And we want you to still go and sign up on blackbitcoinbillionaire.com, because we still have some Satoshis to get to you. So make sure you go to blackbitcoinbillionaire.com and sign up for the Satoshi Millionaire Challenge. What you do is you join the site, you get the email, you come back, and you click on Satoshi Millionaire. Once you do that, you go ahead and sign up, and you become part of what we are doing here at the Black Bitcoin Billionaires Club. And this is one thing else I want to tell you guys, right? I want you guys to also think about Texas. In the heading of what we have up here right now on the Black Bitcoin Billionaire, there is a website called chloves, L-O-V-E-S, Texas.com. Go to tx.com. And when you go there, there is a place for you to be able to donate to help some of those people who are still coming out of what happened in Texas a week or so ago. So please go check that out as well. And make sure you go check out keys.casa.com. We have officially become one of the first clubs ever sponsored on Clubhouse. So everybody give us a round of applause for that. Yeah,
let's get it.
We out here. We out here pioneering. We out here moving weight, as you say. So make sure y'all go check out our sponsor, keys.casa, and use the code BBB to get 10% off their gold package. Again, that code is BBB on keys, KEYS.casa, CASA, and go and do that right now if you want to go get one of the most secure wallets in the entire space. So yeah, back to it. But this is the second part of this question. Let's get back to the second half of our show, second half of our expert section. I want to talk about NFTs, right? Because right now it seems like NFTs are the baby's kids of crypto right now. Right? NFTs have been around for a long time. So everybody who's a new listener who doesn't understand what's going on in the cryptocurrency space, NFT stands for non-fungible token. I think we talked about it a little bit last time. We've been talking about it all week. But listen, these things don't die, they multiply. Like every single week, somebody else has a new NFT. Somebody's hitting some new record. We heard Zay talk about it in the forward when he was talking about the musician Blau, who made $11 million off of 33, Isaiah, 33 different NFTs. So this is not a market. 33. Yeah, this is not a market that is going away. So I just want to hear what everyone thinks about NFTs as investments, thinks about NFTs as the actual technology. Let's just have a good talk about NFTs and how they're kind of bringing the empowerment back to the artist.
I think from a business perspective, being able to set your price for your art is huge, because instead of you having to listen to a record label or to a distribution company saying, well, your art is worth 99 cents and we're going to base it off of how many streams, now you can have a different model in the sense that somebody can say, well, I'll pay $1 million for this individual song, and then the contract can essentially be written through the smart contract, and you can determine those things as an artist. I think from a business perspective, that empowers artists everywhere. And so if I was an artist, I would definitely be researching as much as possible.
Anybody else? Because I'll just come from my perspective really quickly. From my perspective, like for me, it's more important about the ownership part of it. And we, of course, know as African Americans in this country, many of the things that we have created in the past, many of the ideas we've had, many of the patents that we probably could have gotten registered were stolen from us directly. And it's because we could not actually prove ownership. Well, the technology behind what you can do with NFTs is allow for a provable timestamp on a public ledger that you can go back to improve based on the fact that you have the key to create a signature that matches with what's on the ledger. That right there is extremely powerful because it's no longer like a signature. Everybody understands a signature, and a lot of times that's the way people authenticate things is through a signature. The problem with signatures are they can be forged, they can be copied. But when you're talking about a private key, if no one has your private key, right, it makes it very difficult for them to try to forge a signature that matches you. Matter of fact, they can't do it because it's based on mathematics. So for me, the ownership part of this is probably the biggest part. The fact that you can prove ownership and then also transfer that ownership to someone else who can then also prove that they have ownership of that actual whatever it is, that hash, so to speak. So to me, that's very important. But I understand as well as what CJ said that the price of it is extremely important. So let's keep talking about that. Do you think the ownership part is huge, or the fact that they're having a greater access to markets is huge?
The ability to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say from a very pedestrian perspective, I'm new to NFTs. I don't know much about them. And I see that some of the folks in the audience have their party hats on, which means that they're new. So if we could just back up a little bit and just talk about NFTs. I know you gave a brief description there, but how do NFTs affect not the artist, but how can us regular people? You said there's a possibility to make money. I've heard of NBA Top Shots and people buying blocks. So can someone just speak to that on just a basic level?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can take that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when we say NFT, we mean non-fungible token, right? So first, let's define fungibility, right? Fungibility, and I like to explain it to my kids like this. For example, if I gave you $100, if you gave me $100, right? I'm borrowing $100 from you. Does it matter how you get that $100 back, right? If I gave it back to you as a $100 bill, or if I gave it back to you as 520s, or if I gave it back to you as 1010s, are you going to care? No, because it's fungible, right? If you needed a blood transfusion, right, and they got the same type blood you have, it doesn't matter, because that blood is fungible, right? Now, non-fungible means it's unique, right? It's a unique thing. So, for example, if I borrowed your car from you, right, and I brought back you another car, you would say, no, I want my car back, right? Because your car is unique to you, right? So that is something that's non-fungible, okay? So that's what we're talking about. Now, as far as the space is concerned, I'm one on this NBA Top Shots, and I'm shooting blanks over here right now, man. I tried to get their latest pack, and I think they were giving away like 10,000 packs, and I was in a line with 200,000 other people to get these packs, man. And this thing is only in beta right now. And if you were to go on that site and you would see, like, just think of basketball cards 3.0, right? Moving basketball cards, right? Stored on your own wallet. And that's essentially what you'll have access to. And these basketball cards are moments in time, right? So when Steph Curry hits a three, or LeBron James dunks on somebody, or any of the things like that, the NBA owns these moments, and they partner with this company, and they put out these moments, and people are buying these things up like wildfire. And I think it's only here in the States, right? Like, it's not even opened up to everybody internationally just yet.
So
I'm thinking like, man, when Chinese folks are in.
Let's say I got this block, or anybody that's sitting, in this room with us, they got this block, and they have this moment there. Do they then take this moment and they sell it? Is it something that they can rent to a movie? How does that go? How can we turn this into something?
Yeah, they could actually, if they purchase the moment, right? The moments come in packs, or they could be purchased on a market, within the app. So, and it's just demand at that point. Like, how demanding is that particular moment? If they want to sell it, then they can sell it. So this will relate a lot more to like collectors. So people that collect basketball cards, that collect comics, things like that. They understand, people that collect shoes, the sneaker heads, they collect rare
Hey,
items. So when
yeah, I
these
was about
rare
to say
items,
that.
yeah, go for it, Crypto.
How can I like? Hey, look, like last year, right? And I'm just asking this as a general question. Last year, I had a team of people that went on a hunt for PS5s, and we was basically like scalping these PS5s and buying them for store price and selling them for like double and triple. Is that something that you could put an NFT on? Like, let's say if I had a PS5 right now, is that the same type of ball game here? Because it's like considered a collectible. It's a hard to get item. It's not like an everyday thing right now. But let's say like back when the demand was extremely high, like right before Christmas, how could I take the NFT and put it on something like that? Is that the same?
I wouldn't. The thing is that NFTs to me don't make sense to do with anything physical, right? It just really doesn't make sense. You might as well just sell it on eBay. You're probably gonna get the same amount of money,
Right.
and it ain't gonna really.
Right.
It's not anything unique, right? Because they over there printing PS5s over and over and over again. Now, if it was a PS5 that LeBron James signed or put his foot in or something like that, or he broke and there was a video of it, then that probably has value because it's unique. LeBron James picked it up and threw it through a TV because he was upset, right? It changes everything. But I wouldn't, like, everything is not necessary. Like, everything's not good for blockchain. NFTs aren't made for everything either, right? So I think we just have to make sure we keep it separate. But I think for me, the conversation is more about like how, because we had a gentleman out here, Jamal Boykin, who is a coach for the NBA, but he also is really big into the crypto space and been doing some stuff with our very own Miss Naja. And he was talking about how the one thing he saw with these NFTs is that these companies were making money off the likeness of these individuals, and the basketball players weren't getting anything from it, like not getting a dime from it. So if the basketball players themselves could start creating their own NFTs, that would change the landscape for everyone. And that's the kind of conversation that I'm trying to have here. Like, what other ways can we
But I think
empower people that way? You dig what I'm saying?
I think that's the question, because people in the audience and even me, I'm not a basketball player, like, so I'm trying to figure out how can NFTs benefit me. So you're saying basically it has to be something.
Yeah, it ain't gonna benefit you. It ain't gonna benefit you if you don't have something unique, right? Like if you are in a,
that's what I'm saying. Like what type of uniqueness thing should I be looking to have? Like a viral video of something that I captured, or like this picture with this famous person, or let's say if I was hanging out with your favorite celebrity in the club or whatever. Is that like an NFT moment, or like how am I?
Well, here's the thing,
benefiting from it. Like what am I taking?
Well, Quavo, Dr. Schiller, everybody, listen, we have other rooms that we talk about that stuff, right? Where on Clubhouse, we go through that. On the Genesis block, we just want to kind of get the news out there and talk about it because the people on Facebook are wondering about just the news, right? So let's try to keep the conversation to that, and then we can get a room after this to talk about how you do it. But really, it's just about unique things that you create, right? If you create a meme and it's unique, yes, you can NFT that thing up. But that don't mean it's going to be successful. Like, people are hearing all of this stuff, like hearing somebody like a Blau who was already had his own following, already pretty big in the music space. Yeah, his NFTs could sell for 11 million because people already know him. It's like Deadmau5 doing an NFT, right? Or Beyonce doing an NFT. But for everyday people, and then think about it, the reason why the basketball NFTs are doing what they're doing is because these are actual basketball players that everybody already reveres. For everyday,
and Lamar.
For everyday people doing it. Yes, ma'am.
What I look at NFT as your copyright or your patent. That's how I view it.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
If you have something unique and you want to make sure no one else steals it, you make an NFT, and that way it's on the blockchain and boom, it's yours.
Yeah, but Lamar's point is well taken. I mean, the NFTs that are most successful are for people that already have a community, right? So if you already have a group of followers of folks that love you, they love your work, they're going to be more apt to buy your NFT. And I just want to offer, there are a couple of different NFT exchanges that are available for folks that just want to just take a peek and get started. So one really common big one is Nifty Gateway. So, but the trick with some of these larger exchanges is that you have to apply. So if you don't have a huge following and you don't have like a lot of people, you can't show the numbers, you might not be able to get accepted. Your work might not be able to get accepted on the platform. So another one is Super Rare. There's another one called Foundation. So it's foundation.app, and then Zora. So those are the more popular places where if you're a digital artist or a music artist, you can get started. And I just invite people to just check those exchanges out, start playing with it, apply, put in your application and see if your digital art products meet the standards to be available for those exchanges.
Yeah, and the thing is, what Granny said is huge, because from that standpoint, it's literally all about just taking your artwork and publishing it, because it's the same thing that people used to do with their poems and writings, where they would take them and mail them to themselves and not open them. And that was their copyright, right? Because they had a provable postal stamp of the date that postage actually came to them, right? That postage date on there. But you can do this on a blockchain now, far easier, and it's not necessarily about just necessarily being able to sell it, because you still got to do a whole lot of work. I don't want anyone to think that they can just go out here, put out an NFT and make $11 million like Blau.
Hey, Lamar,
That's right.
One thing I wanted to bring back that you were saying too, kind of, because this is my audience for sure is where we try to target, is just to keep it more broad. And even myself as like a trader and investor or whatever, I looked at the NFT market, seems very interesting. For me, I thought that, hey, I just want to know the broad knowledge, because it's a lot to learn right now, especially when the crypto market is booming. I'm just going to stick to what I'm good at. So as far as traders and investors out there, I would say that in the market, yes, there are right now opportunities for high trade value and high rates of return on things. If you're looking at it from that point of view, of course, you need to do your own research on it. But the market, and from that point of view, as an investor point of view, it is a very interesting market, because whether you like it or not, I just think of it as almost like you said, trading shoes, trading NBA cards, or Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I have no clue what goes on in the Dungeons and Dragons space, but I know they've been around for years and it makes a ton of money. So as an investor, that's all I kind of need to know about NFTs, and that's the way I look at it.
And then also, I'll also say that, like, King, you're set up for the NFT world really well, because the Gentleman of Crypto has many hundreds and hundreds of episodes. So all those different moments where you called things out, like, you're set for the NFT, transfer. I think creating content, creating those moments digitally, are going to give you, value later on, because your social currency is now being associated with a digital currency. And so I think that for some of the people who are listening, if you know about Bitcoin, if you have some type of expertise, you should be creating some type of social value for that, because that's going to directly be attached to monetary value very soon. So keep creating those moments, create content. If you're an expert, put that stuff out there, because we're all listening to each other. We're easily accessible through social media now.
Yeah, that's kind of the angle I was coming at it earlier, because I'm a content creator, so I'm trying to figure out the best way for me to create NFTs out of the content that I have. Like, for instance, I have a drone shot that happens to be the first drone shot that anybody ever saved anybody's life with a drone. So that's an NFT moment that, based off of what you guys are saying. So I'm just trying to figure out, how do I get to that point to where I can put that in an NFT, since it's a digital form of, content and video.
Yeah, that's definitely something right there, for real, Quavo. The PlayStation, no. But that right there, you having that unique shot, and you're the actual person that is connected to it, and all of that, like somebody who's into drones, or somebody who wants drone work or whatever, and wants to collect different drone moments, like, or even, even heroic moments, right? Real life heroes. There might be somebody who collects those types of articles and those things. Like, that would be an amazing thing, right? It'll be an amazing thing for them to have. But I think it goes back to understanding non-fungible. Is it unique, what they're doing? And one of the things that, and I'll bring this question up, one of the things that I hear a lot of people argue back against is that because it's digital, it can easily be copied. But I would say the fact that it can be copied and spread everywhere actually makes the provable original even more valuable. Because if you can prove that you have the first one of some meme that everybody pushes all the time, or that they're always putting out there, then all of a sudden that first one it winds up being really, really valuable because you actually have the original one from the original creator. And I think that's really dope. You don't have a clone.
Well, I think this is good. It's interesting to me because like whenever we put content out on the internet, we don't get a monetization back from that. And even if we do get a monetary gain, we have to split it with a third party. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like tired of doing that. Like I have to split my profits with YouTube. I have to split my profits with
and that's the thing
XYZ.
too, with what we were kind of going into. We're talking to the NFTs within the music industry. Is like when these guys put their music on Spotify, iTunes, and all this, they're paying a 30% fee that they don't have to do it by having an NFT in place, to where that they don't have to go through iTunes, they don't have to go through Spotify, they don't have to go through all these different platforms that's taken 30% of their profits from a song that's $1.29. Like they can make that full $1.29 and then some, and that's just something that they're producing out themselves, to where you don't have to have a third party anymore. So like a lot of these guys in the industry now, hearing these topics that these guys are talking about, these industry execs are going crazy right now because they're like, yo, how can we change the narrative? Like, because they've been having control over people's music, to where these artists are now like, okay, so like how can we gain control? How can we get in this space? And it's just blowing out to where all you have to do is have Drake have NFTs and it's over with.
We really need to put the Black Bitcoin billionaires course content on NFT because everybody is copying what we do. I just saw something flash on my screen where somebody is now doing basic Bitcoin for beginners.
What?
Oh man.
Hey, ain't no problem though. Ain't no problem though, Granny Crypto.
Black Future Month this month.
Yeah, I saw the Black Future Month after Zay. You should have put that on a NFT, man.
Yeah, I was about to say you got to put it on NFT and you got to hashtag it. Like that's one thing I learned with the social media world. Like if you are the hashtag brander or the creator, then you're basically the internet holder.
Yeah,
or the creator of the event.
We had the hashtag, but what I saw a big company. Who was that? It was it American Express? Who was that, Miss Naja?
It's actually somebody in the NFT space on Clubhouse that has just deemed March Black Future Month.
Oh man, boy, I'm trying to tell you.
Huh?
I saw somebody on Twitter did it. Yeah, it's wild out here, man. Like that's what NFTs can be actually used for, right? To actually prove that kind of thing. So you know what? Let me ask Mr. Greg.
I was gonna say, Lamar. Yeah, thank you for your patience because I was on court at the time trying to listen and being on court at the same time. But what I was going to say is that really what we're talking about too, I love the idea of NFTs, but also I think we have to be mindful. Technically, if you start to use a phrase or you start to use a certain sentence or something, technically you already have it trademarked. When we say trademark, most people are actually talking about being registered. So they're talking about actually going to the trademark office, which you can do independently, and you can go ahead and register that concept or idea or in terms of what you're doing. But I love the NFT because it's just the lesson here. I think is NFT. I think is something we can quickly do versus having to go through the trademark office, and we can quickly know that we have the rights. I think as long as we can prove. You can prove digitally or some other type of method that you've already been using these phrases. I think we could, you could absolutely have a case to fight somebody on using stuff like Black Future Month, things like that. So Yeah. So anyway,
which is crazy. Here's the thing, Miss Melissa McKnight Forney, she asked the question. I was gonna ask the same question to you, Greg. How do you think we can see it adopted as an asset of proof within our legal system?
oh, interesting. I think here's the way the legal system works. Unfortunately, you really don't see an adoption until you see a lawsuit. So once you see whether it's a state lawsuit, and normally what happens is that state lawsuit will get, if there's an appeal process, it'll get appealed to the court of appeals. Then it goes usually to the Supreme Court of that state. And then if the issue's still not resolved in that state, then that's when it gets, they try to introduce it to the Supreme Court of the United States, just so you guys have that kind of time frame in terms of how cases work. So until we really see lawsuits coming out of that, I don't know if the courts will actually adopt it as much. I think, though, it really does. We have a great argument just from a technical digital perspective of saying that, hey, we had this piece first. The question is going to be, will the courts recognize the NFTs the same way they would recognize you as going through the trademark office or showing you your ability to be able to show that you've been using this concept? And I think the answer is yes overall, because you can show it. Like we got a ton of witnesses in here that can say, hey, we've been using this all month. We probably have a hashtag somewhere. We probably have it somewhere posted where we were talking about that. You probably have a recording of it, right? And so as long as you can validate those things and you can to demonstrate that you did go through this process, I think we would be fine, to be honest with you.
Hey, I just to add on to that, just go, if you're not following Tanya Evans on Twitter, go and check her out. I retweeted something she posted a couple of nights ago about NFTs and IP and IP law. So go and check her out. She posted an entire thread about this very thing, about understanding the IP side of it, as well as not just creating the NFT and saying, hey, I'm done, but actually going through all the proper steps to protecting your IP.
And did she mention going through the trademark office and actually having to trademark it, or what did she say?
Yeah, I'm looking for the tweet again, but I'll send it to you if you're on Twitter. If not, I'll DM it to your IG, Greg.
Sounds good.
So yeah, this has been awesome, and I'm glad to wrap up this segment of the show. What we have now is usually right after this break, we usually come back with question and answers from our Clubhouse audience. So everybody start raising your hand so you can hop on stage, and also from our Facebook audience and YouTube audience, start getting your questions in the comments. But this is the Black Bitcoin Billionaires Club. We are here in the Genesis Block live 11 a.m. on Mondays, where we go over news with a bunch of experts on stage and have a really good time discussing the past news stories and what's going on in the future. So we'd like to say thank you guys for coming. If you would also look at chlovestx.com, which is clubhouselovestexas.com, chlovestx.com. And notice there's a site there to kind of help out, that's trying to help out Texas and everything that went on with them in the last few weeks. Also, we have our first sponsorship, which is CASA. Go to keys.casa, keys.casa, no .com, just keys.casa, and you can sign up with the code BBB to get 10% off their gold package of one of the most secure multi-sig wallets in the world. So that's keys, KEYS.casa. And outside of that, we also want to say, go become a Satoshi millionaire. Go to blackbitcoinbillionaire.com, sign up, and let's encourage everyone we know to become Satoshi millionaires for this Black Future Month. All right. So yeah, Miss Naja, are you ready?
Yes, sir, but I'm coming from a different icon. So I'm coming from my husband's icon because we're in his car.
Okay. Yeah, no problem at all. I see y'all started adding some folks to the stage, so let's just get it going. Y'all can start in Clubhouse first, and then I'll go over here to YouTube and see what we got. YouTube and Facebook and see what we got.
All right, so first up to the stage, we have Lee. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. My comment or question in regards to the NFTs, do you think there will have to be like a central like agency or organization that verifies the NFTs? Because everybody makes their own NFTs. How would you be able to verify that?
I think it's the same way as, and it's, I guess I'll be the first mod, but I think it's in the same way they try to go out and verify trademarks and copyrights, right? What winds up happening is they send out a letter to everybody who's watching, and all these lawyers who are in the trademark space. They'll look at that letter and see all the ones that are up for registration, and they'll at that point be able to come back and combat it and say, oh no, we already have the trademark on that or whatever. I think the same kind of thing can start happening in the NFT space. But of course, what will happen is you'll start seeing people who are using AI, I believe, to just watch the blockchain for certain things getting posted. And then they'll take whatever's getting posted, go look at it, and then make their claims against it based on what they've seen, because it's all digital, right? And it's transparent and on a public ledger. So I think that's what'll wind up happening. Instead of you having these people looking for that email from the USPTO, they'll just use AI to go search the blockchain for things that look like theirs.
Yeah, and the USPTO, sorry, the USPTO, since it is centralized, how would that work for a decentralized asset or NFT?
Because you're still going to try to get it taken care of in some court of law in the place that you live. NFTs are not going to get rid of that, right? All it's doing is providing that proof. So then you have to have case law, like Greg was saying, that allows you to use that as proof, which I think is extremely strong. It's way stronger than the old stuff. So yeah, the decentralized technology, we got to remember, is just a tool. Like I think people might give stuff too much credit. It literally is just a tool, and that tool can be used in the same environment that we are now, to keep, to make sure that we have what it is, that the ownership that we actually have and the proof of that ownership. So yeah, I think that's going to happen. I think we'll still have centralized authorities that handle the law. You know what I mean?
For sure. Thank you.
All right. With that, we're going to move to Facebook. Go ahead, Lamar.
There are no questions on Facebook right now. I asked the one question, which was, how soon do you think we'll see it adopted? But there are no more questions on Facebook right now, even though we have a lot of viewers. So people on Facebook, go ahead and get your questions in.
All right. So next to the stage, we have John. John, welcome to the stage.
Hi, guys. I'm sorry, Ms. Naja. Did Dimitri go? Because Dimitri, if you PTR, he's actually in front. He's been in front of both the last two people. I don't know if you see him.
Yeah, I see him. I'm sitting next to him. It's my
Awesome.
We're in his car, so I'm talking through his speaker.
Shout out to.
So go ahead, John.
Okay, great. So nice to meet you guys. I'm London-based. Don't know much about Bitcoins. I want to get into it and understand a bit more about it. So I just jumped on this group to kind of eavesdrop really, and to understand a bit more about the Bitcoin venture, which you guys are all involved in.
Yes, sir. And Mr. John, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Black Bitcoin Billionaires. And if you happen to be available in just about 2 or 3 hours, we have a crypto virgin room that we would love to engage you, bring you to the stage, and make sure you have the full understanding and give you some direction that you can go. And we also in the mornings have a Bitcoin Basics for Beginners. So we'd love to invite you to both of those platforms, but we're happy that you're here. And maybe we can just answer a basic question for you really quickly and then get you on those other rooms.
That would be amazing. I'd love that. Absolutely. So please do. Yeah, indeed.
Absolutely. So just, and I'm looking at the clock, in about 3 hours, we'll be on Crypto Virgins. And I'll pull you to the stage first if you can make it there. We'll get your questions
Absolutely.
in.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that'll be amazing. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, Mr. John. All
Thank
right,
you.
next
Thank you.
you're welcome. So next we have Facebook. You got anything, Lamar?
No, ma'am.
All right. So next we have Demar. Demar, welcome to the stage.
Thank y'all for having me. I just guess I'm looking for some friendly advice, not financial advice. So basically, ever since I kind of joined this club and before I even knew about Clubhouse, I've been like pretty aggressive on the Bitcoin, stacking up the Bitcoin and stuff like that. But now it's like, all right, cool. I feel like I got that kind of set, put in an autopilot with the DCAs. Now it's like, okay, I got to focus on something else. So I do have my mind focused on NFTs. And with that being said, it's like friendly advice wise, like, so I guess if I got my mind focused on NFTs and Ethereum is basically backing that right now, it would make sense to, I guess, start stacking Ether. I guess that's my question. And I actually did go on Mintable today. I was actually looking around, but the internet's so slow in this building. I'm at work, so I couldn't cop anything. But I was trying to just buy something just for the sake of it. But yeah. So what y'all think about that?
Moderator one, what do you think about him stacking Ethereum?
Well, without giving investment advice, I would say you had the right idea at first. Stacking as much Bitcoin is provably scarce. It's trying to be the global asset of the world, which is a higher value proposition. I understand, with Ethereum, you may think you can get more because of unit bias. Not trying to stop you, but just remember they have two different use cases. And if you're getting Ethereum just to trade it, then again, it's part of your own strategy. So if you're looking for Bitcoin is good to start like you already did, but if you're looking to trade, I don't want to stop you there. But Ethereum is second in market cap, and usually as Bitcoin goes, other altcoins.
10 times out of 10, you will need ETH in order to purchase NFTs, whether it is through like Zora, NBA Top Shots, and some other things like that. So if you're stacking ETH for that purpose, yes, just be mindful again, like anytime you do stack ETH and then use that to purchase NFT, like it may be taxable events and stuff like that, but nonetheless, you just want to have all of those things set up, and then make sure that you even have additional ETH to pay some of the gas fees. So in times of high network congestion, those fees will be extremely high, which we've seen and continue to see. So
Yeah,
you're on the right track, though.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think if you look at your ETH as more like a business bank account, then you have your Bitcoin, which should be like your savings account. I think that might be a way that you look at it in terms of how you want to budget it.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, that's basically, I think, like where my mentality is shifting, because I was just trying to I really want the NFTs, and I am keeping in mind that these can be taxable events. So the NFTs I get, I do want to hold them in my virtual wall, like they all art, until a day comes for the opportunity. But I was also thinking depending on what you guys said, I'll probably just go ahead and stack the Bitcoin, and then as Bitcoin go up, I'll just use my Bitcoin to buy Ether at the moment to end up buying NFTs. But all that in consideration, I appreciate that. And I just got some news from
I was about to say, Demar, one quick thing.
Yes,
I mean, CJ can speak more to this, but I'll quickly say,
the taxable events is the taxable.
Yeah, I would not necessarily trade Bitcoin for ETH, right? Like if you have the money, it's better to buy outright. That way, that's not one taxable event buying it. And then when you do decide to buy something else with the ETH, that's the only taxable event that you will have. And then you can continuously stack, right, your Bitcoin, because you don't want to wind up trading prematurely away that profit as well. That would be the only thing that I would think about or consider, right? Again, not
Understand.
financial advice, but you
Understand.
get the picture.
I got you.
I
I got you.
totally agree with
I just
Ryan.
got some news from my bad. I'm sorry. I just got some news from Coinbase. They said something about now allowing you to stack Ether 7.5% on stacking Ether. I just wanted to throw that out there. Maybe y'all gonna have something to say on that later. But yeah.
I would say no, be mindful of that. If you read what they say, it's on chain staking, which at this point in time, they do not know if, how, and when they would allow you to be able to sell that ETH. So it is locked, right? It will be locked. So I would just be mindful of the conversion from 1.0 to 2.0, right? And what implication that would have. In the foreseeable future, you won't have access to it.
And I would like to also add, I mean, if you're looking like to just get like if you're looking to get like rewards from staking, I mean there are other projects out there that yield better percentages than, you know, the 5-6% I've been seeing on some of these places, and you can still actually, you know, hold onto your coin. So there are options out there. So I would just, you know, do a little bit of digging, and you'll find that there are some better options instead of having to like put up your Bitcoin or even your ETH onto these platforms.
And anytime, and let me add, anytime Coinbase is doing something right now, they're looking at how to make their initial public offering look great. So just be aware that, you know, while they may be offering a lot of things coming up in the near future, they are looking to stake their claim and get the best IPO available. And the more they can show on their books, which is some of the crypto that they're holding or that you all are staking or whatever, you know, it just helps their valuation. So just understand the motives behind several things that are getting ready to happen with Coinbase.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Miss Naja, I got somebody. I got one, like a fish. Facebook user says, I think that Yellen and Gates both believe Bitcoin should be replaced with a more controlled digital coin. Will that have a depressing impact on Bitcoin?
All right, any moderators for the taking? Moderator number one.
I would think that would increase the price more. I know that when you looked in Nigeria and when they tried to ban Bitcoin over there, the price surged in value. So I think a lot of times whenever you try to suppress an actual asset, all you're doing is increasing its value.
And I would add, usually when someone comes out and speak negatively about Bitcoin, it is because they have ulterior motives. So they are trying to get their coin together probably, and they are trying to stop people from investing in Bitcoin until they get their act together. So I don't listen to what they say. They're another Jamie Dimon as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, never listen to what they say. Watch what they do.
Right.
Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do.
Absolutely, and thank you for that, our moderators. So next up to the stage, we have CJ. Welcome to the stage, CJ Thomas.
Hi, thank you. So I just recently, like the other day, learned about Bitcoin. Thank you to Dr. Shalar for the amazing room you held and all the information you shared. And my question is, you know, what is really the best wallet to use? Because what I was hearing about Coinbase was just the sort of social status of Coinbase isn't great, just in terms of Black Lives Matter and supporting the Black community. And so it looks like the CASA is the sponsor of this room, but are there any other, I guess, I assume they're hot wallets. I don't know if they're exchanges. I'm not really sure if that's the same thing, but that you would recommend other than like Cash App, for example, where you can only get Bitcoin.
And so, CJ, before, let me just put it out there really quickly. It's not just the social issues, social justice issues with Coinbase. There's traditionally times when you're ready to trade, and it's critical times that Coinbase has gone down, and it happens all the time. It actually happened last week. It happens anytime there's any moves that need to be made. And so you just need to be aware of that. Even if you choose to do business with them, just understand it's not just that issue. They've had issues for a very long time.
And
Aside of all the people that are calling me now that are getting 1099s from Coinbase that did not create a taxable event, but they're getting 1099s as they have, just like they have. And what it's doing is creating a tax nightmare for a bunch of people. So that's another newly added thing that's just happening in the last couple of weeks.
And Naj, I also add, Coinbase is infamous. After you buy a certain amount of Bitcoin, they'll literally just restrict your account. You only be able to sell your Bitcoin out of it or trade it out, and they won't even give you a reason why multiple times. They close many people accounts. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff outside of social issues.
So to answer your question, your direct question was about the wallets. There are a bunch of wallets that you can use that are, and so Coinbase has a wallet, but they're an exchange more so. So we're talking about wallets where you take custody. There's several. You can use an Edge wallet. You can use a Trezor wallet. As Lamar just said, our sponsor has a wallet as well, Casa. And so there's Trust Wallet. There's tons of wallets. If you want to come to the Crypto Virgin Hour, we can go over the difference between what I call a hot wallet, a warm wallet, and a cold wallet. If you're available in a couple of hours, I can break that down for you.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, I do understand that difference between the hot, warm, and cold wallets. I think what you kind of answered was just understanding the difference between a wallet and an exchange, which now I understand. So Coinbase is an exchange that has a wallet, and so now I'll just kind of be looking for other exchanges that are probably a little bit more ethical than Coinbase.
Absolutely. And just understand, even the wallet companies, as well as the cold wallet companies, now offer the ability to buy and sell crypto out inside. They're all seeking to be one-stop shops. So just check. As this space grows, the ability for us to transact inside of isolated platforms is going to be really great. So just, keep that in mind.
Ms. Naja, one quick thing to add, right? In general, there are two different categories for wallets. You have a custodial wallet, which means that a third party controls it, which in most cases is some type of an exchange or a centralized finance platform. And then you have a non-custodial wallet, which means that you actually have the keys and you control what happens. And that non-custodial wallet can take a various forms, such as the warm wallet, which Ms. Naja mentioned, cold wallet, like a Ledger or Trezor, or what we have deemed as the ice cold wallet, which is sort of kind of like a paper wallet. All of those things have varying levels of security and responsibility that comes along with them as well, so you can protect all of your crypto assets. So just be mindful of those two differences. And just in case, not only for you, but anybody, again, if somebody's telling you, hey, send me your private keys or send me your coins, be very, very, very mindful to not do that type of thing, no matter who is asking, just to protect yourself until you get further verification.
All right. Thank you for that. Lamar, do you have any questions on Facebook?
Yes, ma'am, I do. LaRon Carter Sr. says, does Nigeria banning Bitcoin affect the crypto space, and will this trend? I think he's saying, do you imagine other countries doing the same?
It affected it in a good way. Nigeria's premium is at 86,000 for Bitcoin. So prohibition doesn't work. And if other countries try it, I think they're starting to see the writing on the wall. That's why you're starting to see more people being accepted, because they could try and ban it, but in reality, it just made it more valuable.
Yeah, and I'll just add, it also just kind of changed how people buy Bitcoin. So, it moved a lot of the Bitcoin activity in Nigeria to peer-to-peer exchanges, which are kind of, I guess, off the grid, if you will. But the transaction volumes are still the same. And no, I don't think I think it absolutely helps. It actually helps Bitcoin, and it helps the cryptocurrency adoption around the world. The last thing is, you heard a couple weeks ago, a Nigerian senator said publicly, Bitcoin is something that we just can't control, right? That was a public statement from a government official in Nigeria, because they recognize that that Bitcoin offers a huge amount of value to Nigerian citizens, and unfortunately, that is value that the naira, which is their currency, is not able to deliver.
Yeah, they're going to have to adapt and adopt. That's really what's going to have to happen, because you can't stop it. Speaking of which, we have a young lady who says she's listening from Namibia, Southern Africa. So I think it's how you said Nambia, maybe?
Namibia, that's the place I'm looking to move as well. We're looking for property in Namibia too.
Well, make sure you reach out to Miss Yakia. She's on YouTube right now.
All
so
right, Miss Yakia.
But yeah, go ahead, Miss Naja. Back to you, sister.
All right, so we are on the stage with Carl B. Shore. Oh man, what happened to Al B. Shore?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Doing
Good,
well, man.
Chilling.
All right, doing pretty good. Just a quick question. I was talking to a coworker today, and just wanted to just hear your thoughts about it. He was saying something about Bitcoin ETF going public. I didn't know that was like what your thoughts were behind that. I know not financial advice, but what your thoughts were behind that. I also know about Coinbase doing it too. I may do that just to make money off of them, but not necessarily because I support them. But I just wanted to just know your thoughts about that Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah, the Bitcoin ETF actually went public in Canada, so they actually beat the U.S. to the punch on that. So you could see one coming up here in the U.S. soon as well, because they don't like to be behind and they don't like to be second, even though they are now. But that's definitely something that you can look into. However, our advice here, of course, why put your money into an ETF when you could just buy Bitcoin, right? You don't need to put it into a derivative. Buy the real thing, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was just, like I said, something I was wondering in regards to if, like, as far as stocks go. But I can see your point on that.
Yeah, because if you're getting like gold and stuff like that, the reason why a lot of people don't want the physical gold is because where they're going to store it at. But with Bitcoin, it's typically a lot easier to store because you're not going to have mountains of gold or silver piles and things of that nature. It can be as small as like a USB.
Okay, well, all right. That kind of answered my question on that one then. Like I said, so good info. Yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, I know what to do at this point.
All right, Carl. Well, thank you for that question, and you have an incredible rest of your day. And Lamar, we're gonna go back to Facebook.
I was playing some Al B. Shore for Carl.
Oh, that one hitter quitter.
Right, exactly. Let's see. All I have, people are making statements. I think they're answering all their own questions on Facebook. Okay, here goes one. How would one go to buying wax when U.S. citizens are banned and the VPNs we use don't work with wax for some reason as U.S. citizens? I want those Street Fighter and Garbage Pail Kids NFTs. So somebody is very interested in getting those Garbage Pail and Street Fighter NFTs on the wax platform.
You might want to make some friends in some other countries that have access to it, and then that way you can trade. You can trade some of your crypto, for that, or even send them some cash, right?
Yep, that's right. Make a friend with that young lady from Namibia and get her to purchase them for you.
Yeah, back to you, Miss Naja.
All right, next to the stage we have Shig. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing today?
Great.
So I own Bitcoin and things like that. I inform my family and everything. Everybody's starting to purchase Bitcoin, but I do want to know what are NFTs and how do I get a hold of any of those?
I just listen. I'm gonna just say this outright.
Man, we just did 30 minutes on it.
Nah, but here's the thing. I'm just
No,
gonna
I
say.
wasn't here. I just got in.
Yeah,
I
he
wasn't
just
here.
rolled up.
That's all right, bro.
I just want to say this outright, okay? Please, if you brand new to the space, be careful in buying NFTs. Bitcoin is the layup. NFTs, like, you got to know something about them. It's just like art. You can't just walk in and buy art on the wall and think it's going to automatically go up in value, because you might be buying art from my cousin Earl. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you understand, like, NFTs are not a sure thing. And the fact that they, like even Jakumi said, sometimes it's hard to get in them. You'll find people that'll get in them and the price might drop rapidly. Like, just be very, very careful about NFTs. There is a lot of basically gambling going on with NFTs right now. So just be careful with that and realize that
Wild West.
Yes, the Wild Wild West. And that Bitcoin right now is more of the sure thing. It is the layup. So just be careful with that. I just wanted to say that before somebody goes off and tells you how to throw your money away.
I will say this: the hottest NFT market right now is NBA Top Shot. Whether you're into basketball or not, that is the hottest market. They've already done 230 million in sales, and people have been selling them in the marketplace. If that's your interest, just do your research on that. But I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, thank you, Jamal.
And Shig, follow Jamal so you can jump in the rooms he's in, because that's what he's working on.
Yep, I just followed Jamal. Is Bitcoin considered an NFT?
No, not at all. It's fungible.
So NFTs they're not like altcoins, right?
They're they're
totally
non-fungible tokens.
They are unique pieces.
Okay.
Like I explained it earlier, but I'll go through it one more time. The way I explain it to my kids. So anything that's fungible, if you loan out somebody $100, you don't care how you get that $100 back. Like, if you gave them $100 bill and they gave you back 5 20s, that's gonna be cool because it's the same value. So it's always the same value. Fungibility means it's the same, right? Non-fungible means that it's not the same. So for example, if I borrowed your car from you and I came back, let's say I borrowed your Bentley and I brought you back a Yugo. Well, you're not gonna want the Yugo, but I'm like, yo, I'm returning you your car. Now you're gonna say, I want my car because my car is unique to me. So that's what non-fungible means. It's something that's unique. It could be one of a kind, or in the case of NBA Top Shots, it could be 1,000 of a kind or 500 of a kind. But it's a limited edition, a limited amount of those particular moments, right? So that's what that is. That makes sense, bro?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys answering my question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that question. And Lamar, we're gonna move to Facebook. If not, we'll move back to Clubhouse.
Well, I'm gonna just listen. There's no questions over here. I'm gonna just read what this thread is saying on YouTube. YouTube is your friend. Be very careful buying NFTs. Definitely still the Wild Wild West. Hashtag Kumo D. And then the next one was, anybody feel free to holler at me about Top Shots though. I got you. So that's what just happened. That's what just happened on YouTube. So yeah, back to Clubhouse.
All right. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Andrew. And I want to say I appreciate Andrew. He came over and visited Crypto Blockchain Plug and became a client. And I just want to tell him I appreciate him. And he's come a couple times, actually. So, Andrew, welcome to the stage.
No, thank you. First and foremost, I didn't have a question, as I just really wanted to express my gratitude for Black Bitcoin billionaires, especially to you, Miss Naja, Lamar, Fred, all the moderators up here, Crypto. I've heard Quavo. I've heard you guys have taken your time to explain what really got me, so this is just kind of testimonial to you guys and to the forum you've set up. What really got me when you guys started talking about generational wealth and education. I'm a skeptic. I'm from LA. I'm from down over by Miss Naja's, where her office is originally, and so I'm just a born skeptic about everything. You know, my wife got me into this, and I'm here just to say I've been in this about maybe 3 or 4 weeks now. You know, I was lucky enough to take a private with me and my wife with Fred and explain just some of the fundamentals and get us going. And I've heard someone ask about wallets, and you know, all these questions are all great questions. And for anybody new to this space, just keep showing up, keep listening, keep asking questions, make your own decisions. But I'm telling you, this group right here, and I've been to a lot of other, if you look down who I follow, I've been to a lot of other groups, but no one takes the time and patience to explain it like you kind people have. And like I said, I've been to, like Miss Naja said, I've been to her brick and mortar because I'm more of a visual person. I couldn't understand it. You know, her husband was so gracious to spend his time with me and explain and go through everything. These people are on here to educate, and that's the big thing they always push is education, education, education. Me coming from, you know, from where I did and my upbringing and raised, you know, we weren't given tools that these people are so freely giving. And when I say freely, like it's just freely given information that you would have to go and pay somewhere else or you would literally have to pay for the information, and they give it for fun and for free and to educate our communities, black, brown, red, white, green, everything. But they're the selflessness that I've and this is my first introduction to even classroom, and but just the selflessness. And I've been in my industry for a long time, and it's doggy dog world out there. It's cutthroat, it's backstabbing, it's everything. But I have experienced a psychological change, a spiritual awakening as coming to this room in particular. I just wanted to thank the people I mentioned, all the moderators. I can name all of them with the green spot, but you know, thank you so much. My life has completely done a 360 on how I look at what I'm doing in this space and building that, you know, generational wealth like you guys have taught me. So thank you so much to everybody. I'm done.
Absolutely. That is what this is all about. And we appreciate you as well. And thank you for sharing that with the group. Anybody else want to add to that really quickly before we move on?
And to assure people that it's one of the most secure, safe.
All right. So Lamar, we are going back to Facebook.
All right, back on Facebook. It says Crypto Blockchain Club. How do I join? So maybe they're saying Crypto Blockchain Plug.
Yeah, Crypto Blockchain Plug. You can just go to our website and just check out. We have events. We have events at least once a week. You can just come on and you can go look at services. It shows the services we offer. All the stuff that we have is on our website, and we welcome each and every one of you. So, yeah, just reach out, take a look at us.
Hold on, can I say something real quick? So,
yes.
So, Miss Naja, I mean, I think you might have made a love connection because now the two people are talking back and forth on YouTube, and the one guy saying like, "Where are you located?" And she said, "I'm currently located in Rundu. I moved between Windhoek and Rundu. I'm a newbie to cryptocurrency. I'm a newbie cryptocurrency enthusiast." So I think you might have made like a little love connection or something on YouTube.
Oh my goodness. Well, crypto does the strangest things, as my husband's dad would say, the darndest things happen. So yes. So all right. Well, here we are on Clubhouse. Welcome, Miss Joanne. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Miss Naja. I thought you were going to follow up with me next, and I just wanted to second everything Andrew just said. He took all the words out of my mouth because that's exactly how I feel and what I wanted to say. but I do have a question. With Coinbase, not Coinbase, Cash App, do is there a specific amount that you can purchase of Bitcoin where, is there a cap and then you can't, they will lock your account, or I don't know if it's they'll lock your account, but they'll say no more?
So the moderators, we were having this conversation yesterday, and I believe Shalair is the best one to give us our limits. But I will personally say that they don't stop you from buying anything, but it is removing those limits we need to know from the removal. So if Dr. Shalair is available, I know she knows those things like the back of her hand. So Dr. Shalair, can you help us with that? And maybe Dr. Shalair has a patient.
I can jump in. I can jump in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlene.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Naja. So for Cash App, the limits are $2,000 a day for withdrawal, and then it's about $5,000 a week. So
For
that's
for purchases, like if you want to purchase.
No, not for. I think it's for sales.
Yeah, purchases. I think it's
purchasing, you can purchase as many. Yeah, you can purchase $100,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they keep these limits so that they can monitor the amount of transaction or Bitcoin that flow out of their exchange, right? So that's what it is.
Okay, so 2,000 to send
per day
to send. If you want to put it on your ledger.
Yeah, and then 5,000 per week.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks.
One thing
Go ahead.
I'll say one thing I add in about limits in general is that, I hear people asking about tax, like what's tax code and limits and all this. One thing we have to understand is this is still a new ecosystem. So we're kind of like everyone can create as we go. And I say that because when it does come to limits, most of these companies, if you send them an email and let them know whatever it is you're trying to do in your situation, even at this point still, especially if you're talking about higher limits, they'll figure out your situation to make it work. There's not a lot of companies that will just kind of turn away your business, with the exception of those like Coinbase, which is why I always put them out there, because unlike other companies, they actually just will stop the buying for some reason. But most of the companies will work with you with whatever you're trying to do. Just send them a support email about it.
Okay, thank you. And I just wanted to also say that with the ledger, it was very easy to send the coins to the ledger. The demonstration that Ms. Naja gave was on point, and so if anybody needs to purchase a cold wallet, I would say, hey, just go ahead with the ledger because it's really good, really easy process.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that class, and happy that you got everything set up. So let us know if you need anything further.
Okay, thank you. And thanks all the moderators. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Lamar, do you have anything? Oh, go ahead, Fred.
No, I just wanted to add, for anyone who is interested in the Ledger and Me, there will be another one coming up in about 19 days. So March 20th will be the next class to do the Ledger and Me for anyone who needs help learning about that code.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, next to the stage. Oh, I'm sorry, Lamar, Facebook. Anybody on Facebook?
First, I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Tammy Francis for answering a lot of questions in the Facebook post, answering through comments. There is where was it at? There it goes. What y'all know about Theta Token? Daniel Birkensteiner says, what y'all know about Theta Token and Theta.tv for decentralized streaming? I set up an Edge node, and it's pretty cool to contribute to the decentralized streaming network and earn T-Fuel. Does anybody do that? Anybody else do that?
Any of the moderators on stage want to answer that?
I know I haven't done it. I've looked into Theta. I checked it out a little bit ago, but I've never really ran a node. and don't know a whole lot about it. So, Daniel, you seem like you're gonna be the expert on that because you're the one actually doing it. So yeah, I don't think there's any mods up here who are actually running any of those nodes or anything.
Yeah, that's
What
what I
I
was going to say.
what I will say, and this is actually an interesting point because someone on one of our shows yesterday was asking us about Avalanche and some other network or whatever. And one of the things I would just kind of put out there in general is that, it's kind of like 2017 again, new ICO every week. So you're trying to keep up with things. And I know some of these projects, came out in 2018, but they're just now getting their notoriety. But by in general, my just outlook is just I'm just kind of sticking with projects that have been built in the last 3 to 5 years, because at this point, there's going to be a new network and a new next best thing every week right now.
I agree with that. Absolutely, absolutely. So next to the stage, we have Balo. Balo, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Miss Naja. I just want to start off with saying, Jamal, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I had a great time, and I got blessed with a lot of Satoshis, so that was great. I just wanted to touch on the note of ownership, and a lot of people give credit to the Michael Saylors and the Elon Musk for this boom in the Bitcoin space, and I attribute all of this to you guys. So what I did during that part of the conversation was create blackbitcoinbillionaires@gmail.com, and I DM'd it to Naja, Fred, and Lamar with the password. So if you guys want to just change that password, that Gmail is for you. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Valo. All right, Nyola, welcome to the call. Oh, I'm sorry, Facebook.
Back to Facebook. And Facebook is here. Let's see. I have, does anyone know anything about Numeraire coin? Yeah, I think we're starting to get off into the deep end on Facebook. People just asking about
Any moderators for, I don't even remember the name, just that quick.
Numeraire coin.
Numeraire coin. Anybody familiar with Numeraire coin?
Never heard of it. Next question.
Somebody said.
All right.
Somebody said never buy coin. That's what it should be called. Never buy.
Our folks are so creative. Absolutely. So next to the stage on Clubhouse, we have Nyola. Welcome to the stage, Nyola.
Hi, thank you so much. I just want to say thank you for what you guys are doing. It's wonderful. And basically, what brought me to this group is actually what someone was explaining when I entered into the house and into the room, rather. And, she was talking about the Nigerian government sort of prohibiting cryptocurrency in Nigeria. So basically, I'm a Nigerian living in the United Kingdom, and maybe some of you will hear the killings in Nigeria recently as a result of protest, and as a result of the fact that Nigerians in diaspora have actually found a new way of sending money to people back home, so that they can organize such protests, so that the government wouldn't have to call anybody. And what they do normally when we have this type of protest is that it's sort of organized in a way that the government can call the leaders and say, you know what, if you can call these people off, we're going to give you so amount of money. But now this is sort of a decentralized way of protesting in Nigeria. So there's no single leader. So they couldn't, call anybody or to bribe. And so what they did was to start killing people and saying, okay, they are prohibiting cryptocurrency, because they found out that was the source, where Nigerians are getting money to do the protest. Because normally, when Nigerians protest the first 2-3 days and people are tired and hungry, they want to stop the protest. But this time around, money is coming from overseas, and Nigerians are, very tenacious people, so they want to go ahead and continue the protest, and they start killing us. And so when I heard the news that the government, my government, is prohibiting cryptocurrency, I decided that I'm going to learn about it because initially I was skeptic about going into such, because I'm sort of risk-averse person. And but when I heard the news that the government is doing that, I knew that that's the next big thing, even though it's the next big thing in Western world, but in my country, that's the next big thing. And I'm still trying to understand how, the government can actually prohibit it or ban it. And I just decided that, okay, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn more about it. To know the fundamentals. And I listened to your podcast with Smart Guy, so CJ, the Smart Guy, and it was more enlightening. I mean, you guys were talking about taxation in cryptocurrency, and I do appreciate, what you're doing and what every other person on the platform are doing. Thank you so much. Thank you for the teaching and everything that you're doing.
Hey, the funny thing is, I'd say cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in general is more prevalent on the continent than it is even here in the United States.
Really?
Right? Yeah, they use it more.
32% of Nigerians have cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
The adoption.
Yeah, I mean, so Nigeria creates the use case. It's one of the most effective use cases for Bitcoin, where you have a situation where the currency of a particular country is in jeopardy, right? But people still have to live, and they have to transact, they have to eat, and they have to pay bills. And so to your point about the SARS protests that we saw last year, that's exactly another utility of Bitcoin. The government froze the accounts of the activists. However, because of Bitcoin, those activists were still able to protest and carry on, on behalf of the people, and really hold the government to, or at least expose some of the challenges and the corruption that was there in the police organization. So, it's huge outside the United States, and it's just an avenue for folks that are marginalized to actually have a say in their financial lives, and it's hugely empowering for people.
Yeah. So the question I have is, now looking at the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency, do you think it's possible for a government to say they are prohibiting the use of cryptocurrency in a nation as big as Nigeria, where we've got massive youth population who are highly educated, who are highly IT educated for that sake?
Well, they did it. So, the Nigerian government back in 2017 had a directive that kind of prohibited the use of cryptocurrency, and then they kind of doubled down on that earlier this year, right? They said, hey, any bank that's holding cryptocurrency, we're going to close your accounts. And they did that. But that drove that activity to peer-to-peer exchanges. So the Nigerian government has done it, and it's proved to be not effective.
Go ahead, Charlene.
Yeah,
I was just going to add that what they're really trying to do is stop the institutions from using it. They're trying to ban the institutions from using it, not necessarily like the individuals, because they know they can't stop that. But what they can do is, at some level, you have to be able to convert your money into crypto. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop all access to getting it, besides peer-to-peer.
Yep, that's a good point. So the large volume of crypto, they've tried to kind of close down the use of the large volume, and that volume is held in the banks. And that's what they've done. But that just moved the activity to peer-to-peer exchanges.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you very, very much, Charlene, for your expertise.
Yep.
We know you have a little bit of an inside on Nigeria. And so we appreciate your expertise in that.
Charlene's been everywhere.
Yeah, well, my husband, full disclosure, I'm Black American, yet my husband is Nigerian, and so we have extended family in Nigeria. We go often. So I kind of have a vested interest in this, and I'm pretty passionate about it. It's really important for folks that are just living their day-to-day lives. So I'm happy to talk more about it, Nayola.
Absolutely, and we would love to hear more about it for those of us that are going to be moving to the continent. So absolutely, Charlene, we appreciate you and your expertise. So that being said, we are moving to DeJarvis. DeJarvis, welcome.
What happened to me?
Facebook.
Oh, I'm
Facebook. Go
sorry.
ahead.
Oh
I'll wait.
no!
Oh, I'm sorry, Lamar.
You leave me out of the equation. I don't like that at all. Okay.
Facebook, welcome to the stage because
Yeah.
they only have 9 minutes. We better do 2 questions
Right.
from Facebook, right?
Yeah, I got Ms. Gwen Carter. She said, and I'm gonna read it how she wrote it. If we sent our Cash App info for Operation Satoshi Millionaire, how long before we received that? We sent at the beginning of February. Thank you. I just read it how I thought she would have said it because she's been waiting for a while. Miss Gwen, we have sent out the majority of everybody who put in that early should have already gotten coins. The only reason why you may not have gotten a coin is because the way you inputted your address or your cash tag may have been wrong. So, matter of fact, you know what? Since we got 9 minutes and that's it, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look really quickly and see if I can find Miss Gwen's stuff. See if I can find her information pretty
And
quickly.
while he's looking for
Yeah.
that, we're going to get DeJarvis up to the stage that didn't want me to let Facebook off the hook. So go ahead, DeJarvis.
Hello, thank you, everybody. I just want to give my thanks out. I've been in crypto for about a couple months, and then I got on Clubhouse, and I really started listening to y'all. And y'all really started to touch me so much that I gave my sister a good amount of money on Cash App to go ahead and buy some Bitcoins. And I've been telling her to listen in and just really absorb some of it. Because the way y'all break it down, anybody can understand it. It's such a great thing, bringing awareness. I listen to y'all every day. I'm at work right now fixing a bed for a hospital, and I'm still listening in because it's such good content. I can't even sleep at night because my mind is just going all over the place, how much I just want to learn and be invested in it. So I just want to say thank you, and then everybody, please just absorb as much knowledge as possible because this is a powerful thing y'all doing. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, DeJarvis, and thank you for your service because we know you fixing the hospital beds because these hospitals have been rocking the last year or so in our country. So thank you for all that you do in that space to keep our families safe and functional. So thank you. All right. So next, Mr. Lamar, are you still looking? You want me to take somebody on Clubhouse or you going back to Facebook?
You know what? I found her, and now I'm gonna go in and figure out which ambassador was supposed to get her this information.
That's efficiency at its best.
Look at that. See,
You
ask,
got that on the blockchain, huh?
You ask and you shall receive. And I see exactly what happened here. I see exactly where the culprit is. So listen, I'm gonna holler at all the ambassadors. Does anybody want to? Because this was one of the ambassadors that had an issue with their account. So does anybody want to take this this 20 that I got? And you know how it works as an ambassador. Does anybody want to take this 20? So I'll jump into the ambassador zone and present this to somebody if they can take this 20 off somebody's hands. All right.
I mean, I'll take it. No problem, bro.
That's what I'm talking about. See, somebody spoke up. I appreciate it. So yeah,
between me and the wife, we done got about, I think, 70 people.
Yeah, it's
so
beautiful,
far,
man.
Alone.
Yeah, some people think that we not doing it, but I just sent it to you, Yakumi. I just sent it to you. So you got it on your I sent it to you on your Discord, bro. So yeah, Miss Gwen, we are so sorry. You just happened to be part of one of the accounts that they were having a little bit of issue. So sorry about that, and we're gonna try to get it out to you, sister. All right. So everybody else, I know you got to be patient. There are a lot of names, a whole lot of names. So just please be patient with us, and we'll make sure we get everything to you in due fashion. And it looks like that's the end, ain't it? Hold on. Let me go and close the show down. Hold on. I think we close to the end. Hold on. I can't even.
Those on Clubhouse, we will continue this conversation, so please do not disembark. We
Yes.
are going to stay on our cruise ship.
Please don't leave anywhere. We got about 5 minutes left. Miss Gwen, I hope you still on. Hope you were able to hear that. Cause you no, Lamar, I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry if it came. No, I'm just Miss Gwen. Miss Gwen, I'm just messing with you. I know you didn't mean it like that. Let me make sure I put that up here so it recorded. Miss Gwen said, "No, Lamar, I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry if it came across that way. I'm very grateful to you all." So she is very grateful, and we're gonna get her coins because she is very patient, and she did sign up very, very early on. So she didn't get hers in the first group, so she's going to get it. And everybody on Facebook, thank you guys. And what she's talking about, for anybody who's just now joining in, what she's talking about is the Satoshi Millionaire Challenge, sponsored by Cash App. Cash App has provided us with the opportunity to pass out some coins to as many families as we possibly can, and also encourage everyone to become a Satoshi millionaire. So if you don't know what a Satoshi millionaire is, a million Satoshis, or Satoshi is the smallest denomination of a Bitcoin, and you can buy 1 million of them right now for about $490, I believe. When we started this campaign, or actually when I started talking about it, the price of 1 million Satoshis was $230-something. So you can already see there's been some price appreciation since the moment we started talking about Satoshi Millionaire. And since we started this campaign, we've gone from about $320 to now $490. So we encourage you to buy 1 million Satoshis for your family, sit on it, hold it, and just let it move out into the future to start building that generational wealth for your family. We believe that Bitcoin in the future will be worth more than it is today. And so you building that or buying that 1 million Satoshis begins to set a piece or a cornerstone of that foundation for generational wealth. With that said, thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Gwen Carter, for being so understanding. I appreciate you. Matter of fact, I might send you a couple more. Now that I got your cash tag, I might send you a little bit more just for being patient like that. Everyone else,
and my wife is on the case right now.
Your wife is on it, and tell her I'm gonna drop her some for sending that as well. So everybody, we appreciate everything you all have done. We appreciate everybody sticking around, asking the wonderful questions. Make sure y'all tune in next week on the Genesis Block, Mondays at 11 a.m. We appreciate y'all, and like I always say, live, love, love life. If you live love, you'll love your life. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you.